What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. I believe this is 162 or something. Like, holy shit, that's crazy to me. But we have a very, very special episode in store for you tonight. This band, they actually contacted me like quite a while ago just to like check out some of their music and do some dark reflections and stuff like that. And I fucking immediately fell in love with their sound. It's really fucking brutal. Tonight we are welcoming Aaron, Ledwing, and Grant from A Fitting Revenge, all the way from New York. We had an absolute blast talking to them. Finally having them on after being in contact and listening to their music for so long now. It was really great to finally talk to them. We had an absolute blast having them on. They were really cool guests. But they do keep an eye out. They do have a new album coming very soon called Omnipresence. And there are currently 2 singles from that album that have been released. One a few months back called The King Machine, which I talked about. And a new one that just came out last Friday the day before Halloween, October 30th, called The Infinite. And you'll hear us reference that in the show. We recorded this episode last week. The Infinite is out now. Be sure to check that out. Stream it. Hop on Spotify. Give them a view and a like. All that stuff. A share. Because it is a banger. All right, it is a banger. I'll probably do a Dark Reflections on it because I really like it a lot. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Everyone, my friends, please help us in welcoming Aaron, Ledwing, and Grant, A Fitting Revenge, to the crypt. Thank you guys so much for being on. Here we go. All right, and we are off. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Lost in the Dark podcast, and we have some very special guests with us. We got Aaron, Ledwing, and Grant from A Fitting Revenge joining us here tonight. All the way. Are you all still in the Rochester, New York area?
Yeah.
We are indeed.
Hell yeah. Nice. So one thing, especially if it's the first time I'm talking to some new people and stuff, one thing I always like to ask to kind of get started, so this is for all 3 of you, not that many people, get into metal. So I was just curious, how did you guys become metalheads?
For me, it was around high school, like, I don't know, maybe like sophomore year, and there was just, some people were passing some CDs around. It was, started with like Cradle of Filth and like Slipknot, that type of thing, and then what really got me into it was my friend gave me the In Flames album Horacle for my birthday, and that I'm like, that still to this day is one of my absolute favorite albums. So that's really what kind of got me started, and after that it just kind of took off.
Awesome.
Nice. Were you more of a fan of the earlier style stuff then, or are you kind of just everywhere with them? Like, are you still a fan of them?
Oh yeah, with the In Flames, I mean, I love Clayman, I love Horacle, I love Colony. That was like their heyday to me. And I mean, I like some of their newer stuff. I'm calling it newer, but like Soundtrack to Your Escape, Come Clarity was good. I mean, this stuff, yeah, is probably a little bit at this point, but like the more recent stuff, you tune in every once in a while, but it doesn't have the same impact for me anymore.
Yeah, kind of the same thought about it.
Yeah.
For me, I just happened to pick up a magazine, Bass Player, and there was an article about this guy, Martin Mendez, and a band Opeth. They just released double album, Damnation and Deliverance, and checked it out, and I was sold from there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in the city, like surrounded by hip hop fans. So I only ever got rap albums until my uncle was a big metalhead, like 80, hard into metal. And he let me borrow 3 albums. It was Brave New World, Iron Maiden, Metallica self-titled, and then Pantera, the one where the guy's jumping through flames.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't really
Inventing the Steel, I think.
that much, but the Iron Maiden and Metallica albums just did it for me in a way that none of the hip hop albums really did. It's not that I didn't like rap, it didn't it didn't hit me like the way metal did.
Yeah.
And ever since then I just was all about it.
What kind of hip hop were you into?
To be honest with you, I was just more of a casual, like, people would just give me the occasional mixtape, mix CD. So I don't know. It was a bunch of like, DMX and early Lil Wayne and, Hot Boys. That's like the early thing he was doing.
And
I don't
then,
know. It was okay. I listened to it, but it didn't hit me like metal did.
and then, so your first exposure to Maiden is Brave New World.
Yes.
That's very interesting. That's not usually people's first, to say the least.
Yeah. You'd think that, like most people, when they say, if they say my first was Metallica and Iron Maiden, they'll say, they'll say Ride the Lightning and, like, I don't know, it was Power Slave.
Yep.
That's that was one of my first ones.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that for me.
That's awesome though. I love Brave New World. I think that's a great album. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one where Bruce Dickinson comes back and comes back with a vengeance. It's a good album.
Man. Yeah, it's a great album.
Wow, the Wicker Man, dude. Yeah,
Mm.
fucking love that song. So A Fitting Revenge. Is this again for like all three of you? Personally, in terms of actually playing music, what are your like personal backgrounds in playing music, and is this any of your first projects?
Aaron, you want to go?
Sure. Yeah, so I started playing piano when I was about 5, and I played that for about 10 years. So I kind of had that sort of background. And then also, like when I was like 12, I picked up drums and started just playing in like getting little middle school, high school kind of bands together, just random stuff. So that's kind of just how you start getting kind of involved in that sort of arena. And then involved definitely in multiple projects over the years after that. Kind of took a big break from music for like my late 20s, but then joined up with these guys in my early 30s and been with them since. So
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grant, I'll let you go.
For me, I started playing bass in like 6th grade when I was 12. I'd quit everything else that I ever tried before that, sports, trumpet, I don't know. But I stuck with bass. And I played in a band, I don't know, for probably like 10 years, doing different metal shows and stuff, getting some stage experience. And then 2 years ago, I moved out to the Rochester area and met up with these guys and started working with them.
Hell yeah.
Cool that like you ended up kind of like taking the one thing and sort of bringing it out to where you're at now and kind of expanding on it and stuff. That's kind of similar to my experiences with it, as far as like just kind of falling into it from a younger age and sticking with it. So
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, but Aaron, my co-host here, is he's actually the drummer in a band up here in Lansing, Michigan called Bog Wraith. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
heavier black and deathcore kind of stuff.
yeah.
Gray, AG, Aaron, whatever.
Hey, Ron, whatever you prefer.
I'm a huge fan. A huge fan.
Really? What's that?
I said we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, well, hey, man, yeah, that's sick. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. They are great live too.
Been missing it as far as the live stuff and being able to play out and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure
man.
you guys have as well. Like,
Oh yeah.
when was the last show you guys played?
When was that anthology one?
Okay.
That was April of
No, it was after that. Finger Lakes Metal Fest,
Oh, you're right.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
which was a hell of a show, by the way. A hell of a
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a good one.
How
Yeah.
nobody got injured.
I like those shows where you're on the same level as the people in the audience.
Yeah.
Everybody's just in your face. It's great stuff.
Some is a little better than like, it's a little more like you kind of feel the energy and like get with everybody rather than
Yeah.
just kind of like being away from, barriers and stuff.
That's what I'm in it for. Like, I eat up that crowd energy and
Yeah.
play off of it.
Yeah, Grant has a really good stage presence,
Yeah.
which I struggle with that for sure. But Grant's got it down.
Thank
But
you.
honestly, like that show was great because I think it was kind of indicative of where we were when we started as a band and where we're at now. Like it's been a long time since we've played an empty room, and I am so thankful for that, man, because that shit sucks.
Yeah, it's not nearly as fun.
No,
Playing to the band and the sound guys.
Yeah, bartender. Yeah.
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 Hope the bartender likes our stuff. Ledwing, though, is this your first project?
oh, no, man, no. The first band I got in was 2008.
Okay.
It was called This Side Toward Enemy, and I love it because it was important to me as a musician, but we were god awful. And our shit is still out there, like in ether, if you want to try to find it, if you're listening to it, if you're listening to this. But yeah, I started in bands in 08, and this band started in 12. So I bounced around between a bunch of different projects that just kind of fell apart. And luckily, so far, this is the band that will not die. Went through a lot, and you keep shooting in the head and nothing.
Yeah, we were reading up quite a bit over about you guys, and there's definitely, it sounds like you guys have definitely been through some member changes and things like that. How did the band come together initially? How did you guys form back in 2012?
Yeah, so initially, I was just really like feeling low after a bunch of bands just kind of didn't go anywhere. And I went on Craigslist and just posted, hey, metal guitar player looking. And the original singer was posting or answered that post saying that he was looking for a guitar player. So I show up, and then a drummer also off Craigslist shows up, and a bass player also off Craigslist shows up.
Damn.
And then we start from there. And honestly, we've had a hell of a run finding people off of Craigslist, because I think both Aaron and Grant are both off of Craigslist.
That's
Oh,
great.
shit. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
they-
hear that too often.
Just happened to be looking for a bass player when I moved out here. Checked the Craigslist, and there they were.
Hey.
So we're looking for another guitar player at the moment. So I think we should probably post on Craigslist.
Does that exist anymore? I thought they shut down like the.
Right? That's why it was funny, because like I do everything. I don't know. I hear about everything current like 10 years too late. So I'm like, Craigslist, that's relevant. But
It's still around. I don't know how fruitful it's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
shot. Like if you want to find like an office chair or something, it's still
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. I hadn't heard of it until recently, but we talked to this. There's another band we've had on a couple times now called Victims of the System, and they actually use a service called Band Lab, I believe it's called. Have you guys ever heard of this?
no.
It's,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more. I think it's more geared towards.
Television.
I feel like it's more geared towards like connecting people that don't necessarily live close together.
Yeah.
but in helping them come together to create music that they like. But I feel like it could be used like a Craigslist sort of a thing too, maybe.
I'm
I've never
very,
used it
very
personally.
skeptical about BandLab.
Okay.
Hey, if it's anything like my math lab,
So, Aaron, you probably see this if you guys have like a band email, but you'll just know this straight out. Like, bands are targets of money-making operations, and we got those emails. They were not directed at us specifically. They were just like shotgun in the dark emails, and that shit reeked of money-making operations. So at the moment, my thought is BandLab can suck my balls.
did you say ski nails? Like a scheme?
Did I? I don't know. Did I?
I don't know, but I like that. I'm stealing it.
Yeah.
Sure, I came up with that. Yeah, so I'm not feeling good about that. But if any of the BandLab guys are listening and they wanna call me, and it's the case, I'm cool with that. But dude, I've seen it a million times over. The like those people with businesses geared toward bands are making a killing off of bands that think that they're gonna get value out of it, and it appears to me that it's just not happening.
Yeah.
So,
I wasn't aware that it was a paid service. I've never used it or anything.
if it's not paid, you are the product.
Very good point. That's a very good point. I just watched that fucking documentary on Netflix, The Great Hack. And that is exactly what that's about.
I feel like you're more likely to find like new musicians or like just people trying to find bands through like YouTube more than and even that's kind of rare now. But like just those kind or like I don't know, like Fiverr or whatever, maybe like those services of just like if you like put out anything or like if you're looking for like somebody to put drums to whatever, like it's just like you pay for this amount and you kind of get that or whatever. So I don't know. I haven't really looked too much into it, but it seems like it's something else.
You're probably better off finding a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Shredder group, drummer group, Blast Beats International group, whatever.
Mm.
You're better off there. Something like Fiverr, the issue with that is that these people are trying to turn around work really quickly.
Mm. That's true.
And also it kind of it devalues the musician in a sense, in my opinion. So hey, open market, it's okay that Fiverr exists, but I choose to not give them my Fiverr.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, is this getting into a downer?
No, you're good. This is valuable information, I think.
You guys got any other ideas we can shit on for you?
Usually I'm the cynical one.
Well,
I thought about Princess Bride, so I can shit on that too.
So what have you guys then now obviously, we already said nobody can fucking play shows, nobody can tour right now. There's no fun happening. But what have you guys been up to during the pandemic and everything? You guys are working on new stuff?
Yeah, we've been pretty active right along. Really haven't taken much of a break or much of a hit from the whole thing other than not playing shows, but we've used that time to get all this album work done and put out the singles, and we're also doing live streams and getting more of a feel for that.
Hell yeah.
How's the live streaming stuff been going?
Definitely something for me to get used to. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is it's a strange new thing. It's definitely a different kind of energy, but it's so ours actually hasn't aired yet. We put all the video footage together, and then the guys over at Curtain Call are kind of editing it and getting it ready for a release sometime, probably early November, with a couple other bands. But Ledwing really kind of took charge with the technical aspect of it, so we have really good quality sound. It's all direct input and mixed, so it sounds awesome, and then good video too. So it was a learning curve, but now we kind of have things set up so we can replicate that in the future. And I mean, this is going to be the best we can do for the meantime.
Yeah.
The hardest thing was like not having that audience to play off of and to play to. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in response to what Grant just said, when you do see the first stream of, I assume, several, because this shit ain't going away anytime soon. There is a technical way that you can kind of lessen the feeling that you're just watching musicians play in a vacuum. So I've seen a couple streams so far, and you get that kind of, it's so really weird. It's like an off-putting thing. There's no people, and there's no echo. It's just, there's nothing. It's just like dry instrument sound. So first I tried to mix it as if I was mixing like an actual song going on an album. And the second thing I did was I used a Evolution reverb from a stadium. And I tried to kind of like start at 0 and then mix it up and up and up until it was kind of subtle in the background, and that kind of helped fill it out. So if you listen to the stream on ideally home theater speakers, it really, really punches, and it feels like you're in a space. Now, you don't get crowd noise, but at least you're not playing literally in the vacuum of space.
We should try piping that in for the next one, kind of like they're doing with baseball and everything. Canned crowd stuff.
That was a big thing for it, because we started doing a lot of the Twitch streaming stuff, and that was like straight live stuff. And it sounds like you guys took a little more of like a full-on production approach to it, which is pretty different.
We sure did. That describes everything we do, whether we want to or not.
Yeah, it's
That's
like, hey,
what I like about us as a band. Like, I feel like everything we try to do, we really, really, really try to give 110%. There'll be things that Grant will record that I think sound great, that I would never be able to play on a bass. I got small hands. And he'll be like, fuck it, trash bin that shit, we're starting over.
All of it.
Very Death Clock-esque.
Oh, yeah. And we wonder why there's high turnover. No, we've got a system.
Well, I think it comes through really well in the quality of the tracks, because I never know if I'm saying it right, but Tempest Fugit.
Fugit.
I said Fugit. Okay, Fugit.
Like a fugitive.
Okay, Tempest Fugit. That album that came out in 2017, correct?
Yep.
Yes, I did.
And that shit is hard. Like, that is the quality is like it. Yeah, like, you know, because when I was coming up into getting into music and everything, and I would hear like a band's first album or whatever, you know, not a band on a label, you know, kind of like a local band or something like that. And their first album, it always sounded like it was recorded in a garage. But that's because at that point, you know, this is 2004, 5. This is before smartphones and like decent recorders and shit that were affordable. And then over the years, the quality has just gone through the roof with the more we can do at home by ourselves. And yeah, you guys really like set a fucking bar. I feel like that shit sounded outstanding.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, definitely. So Aaron, you had a couple questions. Let's get into those.
I was looking at the bio you guys had, and it was about you said there was something written in there about the fact that you guys had to change recording spaces a couple of times and had a couple like member changes happen throughout there. And I was just kind of wondering how, if you really want to get into that, or like, I guess like just the main differences between how you guys are doing the recording now, or like what you kind of took from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what had happened last time was we were working with our friend Josh at Wicked Squid Studios in Rochester, and it was I mean, he had a really cool setup. He was kind of trying to build like, it was just like an totally immersive, like one-stop shop for musicians. He was building practice spaces, he was doing recording, he was doing everything. But right in the middle of it, I don't know exactly what happened with his lease or whatever. He basically had to everything up and move to an entirely new spot. So yeah, that added some time definitely to the process, and then we kind of had to like start over, and then not start over, but like get back into the recording mindset, because like really when you're recording, I mean it kind of takes over your mental capacity. It's just like you're in recording mode, and you're just so we kind of got out of it and then got back into it. And so now after that experience, we kind of wanted to see how far we could take things in-house and see what we could get with that. And so far, the results have been great. I'll let Gledwing speak a little more about that, because he's kind of behind the that stuff.
So it was really helpful that probably from about 2012, I started to do some like demo stuff. Actually, before then, probably like 2010, I started to do really rough demo stuff at home. And then the 2013 EP, we did at home. The 2014 EP, we did at home. The Tempest Fugit, we wanted to try the more traditional like studio setup, but Josh at Wicked Squid is great. He is a wizard. He is great. But what the limitation we ran into really wasn't him. It was that the type of music we're trying to do requires, I mean, like whatever is thinner than a scalpel, that's what we need. And we just could not afford to do that in an actual studio environment. So the current setup is kind of a blend where I'm doing some stuff, and then a mixer is doing some stuff, and a mastering engineer is doing some stuff. So we're trying to we try to figure out like, okay, what's our budget? What can we do best? What can they do best? And so on. So I think that's the way forward now for us. So for us, it's super easy to go back and forth on 3 seconds of riff for 2 weeks. Now that might piss people off that are waiting for this album, and I get that, but that really does play into how we are as artists, and like the AFR sound is that hyper polished thing.
That was definitely a big thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, good.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was definitely a big thing I noticed between the. I don't know, we were kind of listening to a little bit of everything before we hopped on here, and like that was one of the biggest things I noticed going like back and forth between like the two newest singles you guys had and then the other stuff. It seems like there's a lot of like refiguring of what you were doing, and it seems like it's a bit a lot more centered and focused on the actual like the sound is more, it's bigger to me, whereas the first EP was was very like you're still kind of working within the kind of where you were at.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that makes sense. Like I came on board after that album was recorded, Tempest Fugit, and I've helped with the writing of this new stuff, and sometimes I can be a little meticulous, maybe obsessive, they might say, about getting these certain things right, making it sound good. But I'll say, of all the projects I've done, I've put out albums with other bands and stuff. This process and the way that we're doing it right now is the best that I've seen and the best that I've had the experience of, because we've done all the tracking ourselves, get that all done, and then we've sent out, we've sort of outsourced certain things, and that mixing and mastering, I don't know, it's worked out to be something that we can outsource. It's good.
And not only that, just to add on to that, not only do we have a better recording process down, but actually like from pencil to stage, we kind of have like a a refined, I don't know if assembly line or production line is like the right word, but I'll give you an example. So the way we write things feeds into how we record. If the engineer needs to know something specific, we can send him sheet music. Then from recording this, the stems and the materials from recording, we then recycle back into the process that we use to prepare for live and set up click tracks and backing tracks and what we practice against. So we're trying to keep this, like, we're trying to make the machine as well oiled as possible, but that is taking a shitload of time.
I mean,
It's coming together.
it's your, it's your process. You know what I mean? And you're trying to figure out the one that works the best for you guys. It sounds like, and that's awesome.
I upended the entire process. I'll say that.
Yeah.
No, Grant. I'm gonna defend Grant from Grant on this one. I have been absolutely like stunned and delighted at how well Grant has worked it. Actually, it's funny because when he came in and he brought in some of the music that he had written in other stuff, I remember thinking, holy shit, this is something that I wish I wrote and maybe I could have written in some other dimension, but I just didn't. So there you go. But I was kind of jelly, man, to be honest.
Thanks, Stu.
That's great. That is awesome.
We
That's
got to
cool.
give a shout out to Jack Daniels at Sick Tone Studio, because he's the one who's been handling the mixing for us. And man, it was just like he got it right away. We ship him the track, and he just, real quick turns it around, and it sounds exactly how we wanted it to.
I think that's been the most seamless part of the whole thing. Is we really haven't run into any trouble with that. Just send it out. We might have a couple notes like, "Can you change this? Do that." Comes back, perfect, good, go with it.
Yeah, as long as we give him good detail and a timestamp, he pretty much knows. And honestly, so the album's going to be mastered by John Douglas, Vortices Studios. He's done like Whitechapel, Amon Amarth.
Oh, that sounded familiar. Yeah.
Honestly, we haven't talked to him at all. Jack does all that shit. So even on that front, he's been a great, like,
liaison.
Yeah, exactly. He pretty much knows what we're going for.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I was gonna say, like, I was earlier, like, the King Machine, that, like, top to bottom, that song is just, it just pounds, man. Like, it's,
Oh,
I'm a big fan of that one. And the Inquisition as well,
So-
like that. Those two are just, I'll be listening to those quite a bit, honestly. Like,
thank you, man. Well, yeah, sit tight for Friday, because this next one's going to be, I think you'll like it.
Yeah,
oh, dude,
you'll
looking forward
like
to it.
the Infinite. You'll like it.
who's because each single, correct me if I'm wrong, each single so far has had like its own artwork, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. Do you guys just got one guy doing the artwork for you? Or is it like multiple artists?
No, so the first single was done by an artist, Greg Caggiano, out of Atomic Rock Studios. He's also a tattoo artist. Great guy. And then the second two, we don't know exactly who the artist is. That was actually provided by the label.
Oh, cool.
And actually, going back to the whole process thing, bringing a label on has been a thing that's been great, but has added more time.
When did you bring a label on?
Back in June, July.
It was right after the Inquisition was coming out, right?
Oh, so very recently. All right.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been working on writing the current album? Has it been like the last 2 years, like you pretty much immediately started after the first one, or have you been just really working on it more recently?
It's been pretty much the whole time. Like when I joined up with them 2 years ago, they had some ideas present already, and then we've written some stuff, cut some stuff, and really pared it down to what we want this album to sound like.
And so then during most of the duration of the writing process for the upcoming album, has it just been you three?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There was another guitar player, Chris, when I joined,
Oh, right. Yeah.
and um, really it's been the three of us though at the core that wrote the songs you'll hear on this album.
Okay. Okay. And what? So with on this album, Aaron asked about the difference in the recording process. What is your guys' songwriting process like?
That's one that's been with me coming in. I write a lot. Edwin writes a lot, and I've been trying to get Aaron to write with us too, because he also has great ideas. And we've tried to figure out how to get the three of us working together instead of fighting each other. So that's taken a little bit of time,
Mhm.
but we've worked it out. And usually it'll be like I write something and I send it to Edwin. Maybe it's not finished, it's a couple of riffs put together. Or Aaron and I wrote a song together, just the two of us. And we didn't show it to Edwin at all until it was finished. I don't know, just sending files back and forth. There's a lot of it.
The writing
Edwin?
process has changed a lot since the band started because at the beginning, man, I just like the first two EPs are 99% me.
Mm.
Just that's just how it worked out. Like I
Right.
just wrote things so quickly, and everybody else just seemed to be kind of blasé about writing. And then as Grant came on, it was interesting because like I like his stuff so much, but you get so used to your stuff being dominant that it's there's a process in kind of letting go.
Mm-hmm.
So that took a while to kind of like trust the dynamic
Yeah.
and kind of be a little more hands off.
Hell yeah. Who writes most of the lyrics? Or is that everybody?
Well, so that's another one that has kind of evolved.
Okay.
So initially I just wrote lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, when Grant came on, he would write lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would try to learn them. But the problem with that becomes like, it's hard to get into somebody else's head, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, because I'm playing guitar and screaming at the same time, there's some accommodations that have to be made for that again, you'd have to like be in the other person's head to know.
Right.
So currently, the way it goes, and this could change, but I think it's working pretty well, is that Grant comes up with a synopsis of what the song is about.
Okay.
All I do is I try my best to make the lyrics as vivid and accurate to what he's saying
Mm-hmm.
while being playable.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Because we went through a process to get this vocal sort of thing figured out as well. And, where writing, we worked it out so that the three of us write pretty well cohesively, just bouncing ideas around.
Yeah.
Vocals didn't quite go the same way. For the Inquisition, some of that was Edwin had written some lines, I wrote some lines, and we tried to, work it out together to get the song where we both wanted it. But after that and a couple of other songs, I think we've come to more of an understanding where what Edwin described really works better, because I'm not singing or screaming while I'm writing this. It's just all in my head, and it really is important that he does like the phrasing and the timing and things like that. And he's also a lot more abstract or obscure with things, where I tend to just be, this is the song, this is what it means, here you go, on a plate.
Okay. Okay.
And we want to be a little bit more poetic.
Yeah.
I think vocally for me, it kind of reminds me of like a Legion, like conducting from the grave kind of stuff, like that like real like mid-range kind of stuff that sticks out to me. I'm a big fan of that.
Nice.
Well, I'm glad you like it because I try to work in. I'm a huge Black Dahlia Murder fan.
Oh,
I try to work in highs where I can.
oh, yeah.
And I've done better with the highs,
Mhm.
but when I tried to work in lows, I'm more of like a mid-range high kind of screamer. Probably more mid, as you said. I would love to be able to do lows more. I got to keep those limited. I've been taking vocal lessons
Nice.
about January or so. So I'm hoping that really translates into more stamina and kind of opening up my range. to
Hell
some-
yeah.
But we'll see what happens, man.
I keep telling him he has to listen to more Cannibal Corpse.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's good advice for really anyone on Earth.
I don't know, man. I've checked out some of their stuff and it hasn't really done it for me. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes like
Edwin, this is being recorded.
I'm watching the room here, watching people's reactions.
yeah, my phone number right now. Like Cannibal Corpse doesn't do it for me. Dying Fetus doesn't do it for me. Now, Cattle Decapitation,
Oh,
Infant Annihilator, and Septic Flesh lately
uh,
done it for me.
Death Atlas might be my favorite album of the last decade. Like, that thing is unrelenting, dude. I love
gotta listen to it.
Cattle.
So like, I'll do bits and pieces, and 1,000 people will come at me every month. Like, listen to this, listen to this, listen to Yes, listen to fucking Bootsy Collins. Listen, I'll get to it.
Wait, you haven't heard Death Atlas yet?
No.
Oh, you're in for a treat, my friend. The newest Cattle Decapitation is absolutely one of my favorite albums of all time. Probably and that's honestly it's the album I discovered them on. So it's kind of crazy. I came in really late with them, but it just fucking floored me. And yeah, they're an outstanding band.
I
Our
just
friend
got one of the
Matt Clarko, he wouldn't.
albums from the library, so I got to listen to that.
Hell yeah. What was that? What was that, Grant?
Our friend Matt Clarko, he would message me about that album every day for like a week straight, just singing its praises.
Oh, dude.
That was kind of how I came into it too, because like I don't know, because it was kind of like later in the year, and we were doing like a Filthy 15 like best of the year kind of list, and that was one that kept coming up that like I kind of danced around a little bit because like I heard bits of it, but until I really sat down with it, kind of like, you know, after the fact, and it was like I think it was after that came out, and I was listening to it all the way through, and I was like, man, I was so wrong. Like,
All right, added it to the playlist.
It is. You're in for a treat, man. You're gonna love it. Hey, Aaron, are you still there?
Oh, yep.
There he goes. All right. Just making sure. All right. So here's a fun question for everybody, kind of a two-parter. So since you've all you've played shows together, you've played shows in separate projects. From the standpoint of a fan and a show that you just went to see, and from the standpoint of having played a show, what's some of your like favorite experience ever having played or in seeing a show, a live concert?
My favorite, as far as being at a show, is the bands that can just open up the entire pit in like 2 seconds within starting, and that's I mean I'm big into like hardcore and metalcore, so you know I saw Hatebreed a bunch of times and Unearthed, and like it's just, you know, 2 seconds in, the whole place is just crazy. So that to me is like that's just awesome. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, dude, how excited are you for the new Hatebreed album?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be cool. I was listening to the new track, and yeah, it's all right. I'm still hooked on old you know, Perseverance and Rise of Brutality and everything. So it's
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, I listen to that shit every day. Yeah, I'm a giant fan of the Josta Show podcast, Jamie Josta's podcast, and I was actually at Live Dominance when they recorded that up here in Detroit.
Oh yeah, I got the DVD. Yeah, man, that was
Yeah,
a really good. At what was it called? Zap or what was the name of the venue?
Harpo's.
Something. Harpo's. That was it. Yep, yep. I'm
Yep.
thinking of Marx Brothers. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a very legendary venue up here. There was one time where actually I met Aaron in his one of his previous bands. I was like working with them, like just kind of helping them like load and unload stage and shit like that, and working the merch booth. And they played a show at Harpo's once, and I got to like film it from the side of the stage for them. And right like around, there's not really a backstage; it's just like a stairwell. But like there's this fucking wall of all the bands that have played there, and it was Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, like fucking everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone. It's yeah, it's one of my favorite venues in the state for sure. I love that place.
Very cool.
But what about playing a show, Grant? How about what's your favorite experience ever been playing a show?
I can't say that I remember one specifically out of any, but my favorite memories are just when the crowd is really responding to the band. Like what we're doing on stage is directly influencing what's happening in the crowd. And when we have high energy, the crowd has high energy. And I love seeing pits. I love a circle pit. I've got to play and see a wall of death. That was pretty fun. And if the ambulance gets called, it's not the best thing, but at least you got some energy out of the crowd.
Absolutely. and seeing a show. Sorry.
Been lucky enough to see a lot of my favorite bands live, like Between the Buried and Me, Nevermore, Opeth. But I think the most memorable was seeing Behemoth live. It was an outdoor stage, sunshine all day, beautiful day. Behemoth plays one note and it started downpouring.
Oh,
It was so brutal.
that
He's
is
like, God
sick.
hates us, you see.
That is sick, dude.
And they have one of the craziest live shows I've ever seen.
Hell yeah, dude.
It is just they really like just do a great job of like really bringing you into this space and just making it just this like darkness of it all. Like,
Dude,
it's
if you're anywhere near the front of that crowd, you better be moving.
yeah,
You.
yeah.
Nurgle will not be happy.
Yeah, I think we saw them with God, who was it? It
We
was
saw them twice in like a few months because they were doing their headline tour with Wolfheart and somebody else.
Was it at the gates?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was. I can't remember.
Oh, whichever last tour. Yeah, that was insane too to see At the Gates and Behemoth at the same time.
Yeah.
Song with Cannibal Corpse and Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't get much better.
Aaron, what about you? What's your favorite show you've ever been to, man? Oh wait, you already said no. I'm sorry. I meant live playing a show. Sorry.
Oh, that anthology one that we played, that was awesome. I mean, that was a ton of people. That was real cool, and people were really moving. I mean, that was the biggest stage we played on. I mean, the sound system was huge. It was so loud and crystal clear, and yeah, people were really, really moving to it. So that was probably.
Here's how good that show was. Later on in the day, because it was like a festival style thing, I go up to the merch table or something, and I pass by the bar. They have like a huge 25, 30 foot long bar. And one of the waitresses bought one of our shirts, but this is like a person that I just would never, I don't know. She did not strike me as a person who gave a shit about metal, but obviously I was wrong, or we were good enough, or she enjoyed us enough that she felt compelled to buy a shirt. And that, like, you know, that meant a lot.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, that's what it's about, right? You know what I mean? Like hitting, especially getting the ones you don't expect to get. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's
I
a
know,
very
like,
special
after
thing.
we play a set, if I'm, you know, walking outside to the parking lot and somebody approaches me and they're wearing a jean jacket, I kind of have an idea as to where this might go, which is great. I appreciate it and I love it, man. It's fulfilling, you know. It's really rewarding. But yeah, it's extra dope when it's just some person like you just never thought.
Yeah,
Even better
absolutely.
when like the bass player of the other band that played that day comes up and they say, "No, you, no, you." Yeah, no, but you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ledwing, your favorite show that you've been to and playing live?
Playing live, ooh, that one's hard. I might say there was a show that we played at the Montage Music Hall where we ended up just going on last just because that's how it worked out. And people stayed to see us, and like we just got, I don't know, I just felt so, felt so on for that show. And I felt like people just really, really responded very well. So probably between that and the anthology show, which was huge, and Hometown. As far as shows I've seen, honestly, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I tend to prefer shows where there's a lot of theatricality. So Metallica, Ghost. I saw Ghost about a year ago, and that shit blew me away.
Wow.
Meshuggah with Talia Murder.
They're on the list for sure for me.
They don't really, they don't jump around at all. They're pretty much statues, but the place was still hopping, man, because they had the energy, and the stage design was on, and the sound was on, and the lighting was on. Same with I went to see Tool at Rock on the Range. Same thing, man. They got the energy there in a different manner. And I'm not saying one is better or worse than the other. I tend to prefer the more theatrical stuff. Avenged Sevenfold, I love them every time I see them.
That was kind of, as far as like what I was saying about Behemoth, kind of the same way. Like there's just certain bands that can just really like bring you into their own world and try to, you know, it just makes you, it kind of like, it's more of a show experience than it is just like seeing a band live.
Yes, it's not just some dudes on a stage. It's an experience. That's what I want. And I think you guys will see that when you see the streams. You'll see some of that, like bring you into whatever Fitting Revenge is. Like you take your brain and let us borrow it for a few minutes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love you know, I always go back and forth in my head between what's my favorite band, Lamb of God or Iron Maiden. But I've always been attracted to the theatricality of Iron Maiden and Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie and those giant stage experiences. Huh?
Roll.
Hell yeah. I've always been attracted to those giants. Like bring it. Even one time, Aaron and I were down. Oh shit, I'm fuzzy. Sorry guys. One time, Aaron and I were down in Detroit. Fuck. Who were we seeing? Cannabis Corpse, I think.
Oh yeah.
At Smalls, and there was just like a little local Detroit band called Acid Witch that like stood. They weren't in direct support. They weren't the openers. They were in the middle. I'd never heard of them before, and they fucking blew me away just because they had like a little bit of fog and a little bit of extra theatricality to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fucking A. This thing.
Yeah, if the band is giving a good faith effort and giving 110%, I can forgive a little bit of cheesiness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My limits too.
We
Or-
played this show in Boston, and they had the TV playing behind the band.
What? Wait, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
It was really like kind of rude. They didn't shut off the bar TVs that were playing,
Oh,
and
what the
so
fuck?
yeah, you had to outperform the movie that was playing behind you. But when this other band went on, they started playing this like Japanese horror movie, and there was just blood gushing all over the place.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
That's actually a pretty good backdrop then for a metal
Yeah.
band.
Yeah,
I mean, that like works. Sorry, I'm trying to get this fucking thing. Who
I think
cares?
that's what it was called. Yeah, Tokyo Gore Police.
yeah, dude, that's what it was.
Tokyo Gore Police?
Oh yeah,
Tokyo
Oh,
Gore.
Fuck yeah. All right. I mean, you've
That's
seen Cannibal Corpse. I've seen Cannibal Corpse where they did have a screen and it was just gory images.
yeah.
Or Guar. Guar's another good. That's another great theatrical one, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see him so bad.
Oh man.
I actually did see them, and it was every bit as gross as you'd think it would be,
As you want it to be.
as you want it. Yeah.
No, they are. No, I too took a long time to see them, and I just saw them for the first time last year, maybe 2 years ago, and they fucking blew me away. Like, from the musician side of things, they were just tight. They were really tight sounding, and they were heavy as hell. Like they sounded really, really good. They were outstanding.
You mentioned, you accidentally said the word magician.
Yes.
I'm going to put this out there. It would be the shit. And if I had millions of dollars to make this happen, it would be the absolute shit to have a metal show where a magic performance is like somehow integrated, man. It can happen.
It could
can
work.
happen. It could work with the right guidance, man. If I call Penn and Teller and I say a number with enough zeros, I bet they'd help.
Yeah.
Like you'd be the supporting act to whatever the magicians are doing.
Or like,
Man, that's good.
or the
That's
magician is
beautiful.
yeah, because you can like saw people in half and shit.
It might have to be like at the end of songs or between songs.
Right.
You know what I'm thinking?
Like setting it up.
Yeah, it's been done by pop artists.
Really
I think Michael Jackson kind of worked that stuff in.
interesting. I
Yeah,
never knew.
consulted with David Copperfield.
Oh, okay. Interesting. No, that could work. I think you're right, and that's something I've never ever fucking thought of before in my life. So
Box Yo.
yeah, definitely, absolutely. So yeah, for because all three of you are you all obviously play instruments. Ledwing, I noticed some pictures. You have a Jackson, I believe a Jackson Randy Rhoads guitar,
I do.
which is my absolute favorite style of guitar. I have one as well.
I break her out every once in a while, but that's more of a garage queen right now.
Hell yeah. I wanted to ask all three of you. This is for what kind of gear do you like to use? I'm a bit of a gearhead when it comes to this stuff. So what kind of stuff do you guys enjoy using? And is there a difference between live and recording in terms of the gear?
Aaron, I'll let you do that one.
Okay. So I'm a big Tama fan. It's been I don't know, when I was growing up, and everybody had a Tama Rockstar, and that's what was in high school, and then you move up to like a Superstar, and now I'm working on saving up for a Star Classic, and they got a good brand and are just a really good sound. I know a lot of metal guys really like it. I played Tama with Belgian cymbals, had a whole setup of A customs that I just absolutely love. They're fantastic. So it's stuff that it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it sounds good. So that's for live setup. And then actually for the recording, we've done the recording on a Roland DD25. So yeah, that's made it's been so helpful as far as the recording process. It's just we probably would not have been able to get a good drum sound on our own, and this has just made it super simple.
It's the electronic kit for people that don't know.
That's something I've kind of been working with as far as like just trying to like as far as like getting ideas back and forth, it's great to have just for like writing tools and stuff. And there's so many plugins and stuff that just make it easy to get like a specific sound that you're looking for and stuff. But oh yeah, I kind of been as far as like cymbals and stuff. I've kind of been back and forth with like a couple of different things. But lately, I've been really into the classic custom like dark stuff.
Okay.
Whatever that new one is. I really enjoy that sound. It's kind of like I don't know, they're kind of like just below the rude cymbals, which are way too loud, I feel like. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been a fan of those. But yeah, I'm always kind of looking for new cymbals and new sounds to kind of look into.
Grant, you got a
Um,
favorite bass?
For me, what I have access to, like price wise, is always kind of dictated what I use. But what I've found I like most lately or recently has been ESP LTD basses. I have a 4-string, and then I have the same thing in a 6-string version. I just play the 4 for a fitting revenge because that can do everything I need to do. But really, the most important thing is the pickup set that they have. They have these active EMGs that really make the difference in my tone. Everybody that I play with always tells me, dude, your tone, and it has nothing to do with the amp, the settings, nothing. It's just those pickups on that bass.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But if Fodera, if you're listening, you need a bass player on the metal scene, and my name's Grant Davis, and I would really, work with you on a custom bass. It'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sick.
Heard you,
Hopefully
sir.
they're listening.
Yeah.
Out there, we'll tag them in the. We'll tag them in some Instagram posts. Man.
Yeah.
They're active. So for me, I'll make this real quick.
Yeah, I know you got to hop off and we'll wrap up after this.
Yeah, so for live, it's a Mesa 212 with vintage 30s going into an Axe 2 using a 5150 block letter, 5150 block letter model out to in-ears. So the house is getting the Mesa. If they don't mic me up, then the house is getting the block letter. The in-ears are an orange 412 for cab, and then occasionally the house is getting an orange 412 for that. The album is a 5150 into, I think, a Mesa 412. I would have to ask Jack on that one. For guitars, honestly, I have a, this sounds douchey to say, but I have a artist signature model. I feel like such
Really?
a, but I do. So it's the Rena Guitars Revenge model.
I saw those. Yeah.
Guitar, to be honest with you, and not just because, well, kind of because it's my signature guitar, because I was able to pick shit out on it that no other guitar had. So it's kind of unfair. It's like when I tell people my favorite pizza is pie craft. Well, of course it is, because you can ask for whatever you want.
Fair enough.
But it plays great. It's 6 strings, fan fret, 12 to 24 are scalloped, and then it's an EMG like X set,
Sick.
Sophia bridge, and then what else?
What's it fancy stuff you got built in there in the back?
It has some extra shit in the back that I don't use too much other than maybe recording.
Mhm.
So it's got like some coil tap switch, like a coil tap switch in the back.
Oh wow.
Has a kill switch. I love bucket heads.
Oh,
I'm trying to work that in.
that's sick.
Yeah, you went all out on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get another one that's maybe a little better suited for live though, because this is very much like this is like a high-end race car that is also that needs very specific conditions to work at its best.
It's
Okay.
really good on paper.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it is really good, but you can't drive this shit on the streets. And it's
Okay.
like 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 So I think the next one that we're working on now is more of something that I can, for lack of a better word, abuse a little bit more.
Okay.
So it's not going to be quite as kitted out with features.
Mm-hmm.
Be a little more stripped back, but the profile is actually based on that Jackson Flying V I told you. So I literally just gave him the neck measurements and was like, if you wanted to know what neck I liked, here you go.
Hell yeah. That's outstanding, dude. Yeah, I saw the pictures of that guitar on the social media, and I wasn't sure. I was like, did he just get a custom, or is this like his line? Like, I wasn't sure. So that's awesome. That is so sick, dude. I'd love to play one of those one day.
Grant, maybe, oh man, maybe we can do something for you.
That'd be
Hey,
sick.
I'm open.
There we go. But all right, man, you said you got to get out of here. I can't thank you guys enough for giving us your time tonight.
Oh, thank you.
This was an absolute blast. There are definitely a couple things that I'm not going to be able to get to, so we got to have you back on sometime whenever you want. But please, right now, go ahead and fucking promote this shit out of the website, the social media. Tell us what you got coming up.
Yeah, so this Friday we have the next single off of the new album Omnipresence. So the single's called The Infinite, and it is a quick banger. It just gets right into it, and it's
There it is.
there we go.
Thank you, Aaron.
0 to 60.
Yeah, it's a smasher, man, and it's gonna be a good one live. So Facebook, of course, A Fitting Revenge. We're very active on Instagram, instagram.com/afittingrevenge, or just put us in there. Let's see, we have afittingrevenge.com, the website, YouTube channel. Are we on LinkedIn? No, maybe we should be. We'll get on like WeChat or something. We'll get out there. But yeah, Instagram is the main one.
And afittingrevenge.com, that's where everybody can go to get some merch.
Yes. Yeah, we have really
You do.
interesting and unusual merch.
You got good merch. I liked it a lot.
Merch.
Are there any now? I personally am a hardcore collector of physical copies. Are there plans to release the new album on a physical copy?
Yes.
Fuck yes.
Limited run, but yeah.
Oh well, I will be one of the first to pre-order that motherfucker. I promise you that.
We've talked about doing, so we talked about it. This is not a guarantee. We've talked about doing some sort of like special edition. So we're bouncing around what that might have. We're thinking maybe like sheet music, stems, shit like that. No guarantees,
Fair enough.
but
That sounds exciting.
we try to think outside the box here. So
Yeah, I'm old school. I just love having the thing in my hand. I like sitting down, reading the lyrics in the booklet, along with listening to all the tracks, top to bottom and everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's very exciting. Huh?
I said, we'll give you a thing to put in your hand.
Ah!
I couldn't resist, man. You walked into that one.
Yeah, I did. That was great. But Jesus, guys, thank you so fucking much for hopping on with us tonight. This was a fucking blast. I mean, in a world where we can't go to shows, me and Aaron been doing these podcasts with and meeting all these new people, and this is just like the most fun that we've had all year. So thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys, and Bog Ray for the win.
Oh,
Dude, thank you, man. Hopefully once shows pick back up, I'd love to set something up for you guys. And
Hell yeah, man.
have you guys ever played Michigan?
Not me.
No, we were gonna tour out that way, and that got canceled. So
Hey, you're like the third band that's told us that. God damn it, 2020.
Yeah, it would have been like this week.
that's right. Yeah, it would have been about now.
Wow. Well, I fucking promise you, the first time you guys do come, Aaron and I will be in attendance, and we will fucking bring the party for you guys. All right, we will.
Tear it up.
Yeah, we will make sure it goes down. But man, I cannot thank you guys enough for hopping on tonight. Seriously, it means the world to us, and you guys are outstanding. And anytime you ever want to be back on, just to fucking hang out, shoot the shit, you're bored, or promote something or whatever, all of you are welcome anytime. Open door policy here. So
Thank you.
We'll do a game.
so much for having us. All right.
All right, take it easy.
absolutely.
Take care.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
You too. Peace.
Legendary. Like, that was so much fun talking to those guys, getting to pick their brains a little bit about everything. There's plenty I have here that I did not get to with them, sadly, because we ran out of time. So fingers crossed they want to come back. We'd love to have them back on, because we had an absolute fucking blast talking to these guys. So much fun. And once again, their fucking music and their sound is just, that thing a couple weeks ago when we had on, or actually, no, it's the last episode when we had on War. Be sure to check them out. Bobby, their vocalist, just said something that has stuck with me. And it's this way of describing the sound. It's familiar, but new. And I keep kind of getting that from more and more things like these guys. Like, I hear elements of things that I really like, but it's a totally fresh new take on it. And the way they marry the sounds together differently is really fucking awesome to me. And so yeah, everybody check out War, of course, but everybody check out A Fitting Revenge, Omnipresence, The King Machine. These are the two, The Infinite and King Machine are the two singles out from the upcoming album Omnipresence, which will be out soon, hopefully, because I cannot fucking wait to hear the rest of this album. Oh man, it's gonna be a banger, because these first two tracks are fucking hard. Them is the mad notes. All right. So definitely check out all things A Fitting Revenge. Links below in the description to their website. You can go there. You can get the merch. Hop on Spotify. Do the save, share, like, YouTube, everything. In Facebook, Instagram. They are really great guys, and I can't wait to see what they got in store for us on the rest of this album. I can never ever thank them enough for being on. Absolute from the bottom of our hearts, man. It really just means the world to us that these bands want to be on the show. It blows our minds, and we just have so much fun talking to them. And yeah, so hope, anytime they want to be back, they are more than welcome. And thank you guys so much for being on. We can never thank you enough. It really means the world. And that was so much fun. For us. And we hope you had a good time too. And we hope all of you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. We got some more coming pretty soon. Some more fun stuff coming, that's for sure, without question. Yeah, we got a couple things lined up. So be sure to keep a lookout for that. But as always, until next time, everyone, raise your fucking horns and bang your heads. We love you all to death. Good night.